planet was back, and it was better than I'd ever hoped for! The dream never died! It rose above and soared into this fucking stratosphere! And it's now split between 4 characters! Mila has become a huge dork, and god am I here for it. Carol becomes more Carol than ever before. She's already too strong. Don't let her get even stronger. Sick, I love baseball. Wait, what the fuck? Syntax is here and asks for identification. This goes as well as you can expect. Oh, fuck me, it's Serpentine. And it's not Lilac who he has a bone to pick with this time. It's Mila. Ransom and an entrance.
Magister, how I've longed to see that look in your eyes. Entire clans of water dragons wiped out. Also, his kind could lay claim to the world that we once called home.
Even if you manage to do some decent damage and get past her attacks, she's got Dragon Install! I'm sorry, am I reading a genocide sympathizer's writings and mad scrawlings on a race they wiped out? Heating is not going well. Well, except for Gong.
Here you are.
They drop some fat stacks on Carol, she'd be able to talk her way out of it.
Everything you just said does not help your case in the slightest. A mercenary who would work for the highest bidder and change loyalties at the drop of a hat is inherently untrustworthy.
Kumasta! Welcome to the second half of the game, and this is where things pertaining to the story will get a bit messier, since there are certain events that I'm gonna have to be fiddling around with just to make everything work here, okay? Please bear with me as I take you through the lush and lavish lands of Perusa. Carol is making her way out to try and see what she can do by herself. All she's got to do is find Airship Zaglada and everything will be solved from there onwards, right?
Yeah!
Well, can't really think much on that right now, as Carol's already on her way through Tidal Gate. The introduction of Perusa, and it's very, very nice. Full of life, color, and even some neat little speed gimmicks here and there. I'd honestly be down to grab a few friends and hang out here. It looks so nice, but Murga has her claws set into Perusa, as her bots are still out here trying to cause some shit for Carol. After making her way through Tidal Gate, she manages to make her way onto the Perusian mainland, and receives a signal coming in from Spade of all people.
About time you picked up.
Wait, Spade?
Carol, it's been a while.
Spade wants to talk to Carol inside Goldie's, the local diner he's setting his boots in. But first, I should look around! Yeah, history certainly left its mark on the world. Speaking of leaving marks, yeesh, this statue. It's a small wonder who they destroyed. Oh, who's this? Moonflower of Peace? Real talk, I actually tried doing what Carol described and it's sorta there? Shack! Information! And replicas, which scare the fuck out of Carol and fool everyone else. There's also this thing in a glass jar and it's playing a message.
New entry, Cordelia, personal. Subject, Ocean Dweller rumors. There's been talk of some kind of new threat arising from the Ocean Dwellers. A champion of immeasurable power, biologically engineered for war. I don't know how substantial these rumors are, but given their current level of righteous descent, I wouldn't dismiss their ability to craft such a beast. Father is convinced that we've run out of options for dealing with these savages. If that's the case, then there isn't much time left. I have to act without his permission. I will leave the capital and head for Perusa to negotiate some kind of peace with the Ocean Dwellers. Surely they'll listen to reason. We're all living on this planet together after all. End entry.
It's about some water dragon being a biological weapon of war, and an earth dragon wanting to seek out diplomacy in Perusa amidst those bloodthirsty savages? Wait, she wanted to seek out peace? Huh. Maybe history isn't as bloodstained as I thought it would be. Carol tries to be cool with everything that's going on and alert the Magister on what's happening. The entry about Murga and a Princess Cordelia, which catches the ears of the Magister, who will be looking into the matter. This is an event that can happen with anyone, but for right now, I think I'll let Carol have this one. She does like getting her mitts on shiny things, as all bandits would have. You little degenerate. These time capsules are only important to getting the secret ending in the game, and spoiler warning, I only did it with Lilac, since I felt it was the most relevant and personal to her. You can get these at the Battlesphere, and I'll let you know this now. Both points in the game where you can go back to the Battlesphere feel awkward to do. So if you're gonna do it how I did and don't want to do the final boss twice, you can go do it when you're heading off to the final few stages in the game. Just be ready, because I'm going to talk about these later. Just a little treat for you. Back to the now, Kale runs into Spade, who presents himself.
Oh, the usual. Criminal proclivities for fun and profit.
Fucking loser. Spade probably while over in Shang too, and overheard from Shui Gong, that Dale knows the invasion and is doing everything in his power to avoid a war with Murga. Spade wants to save the world, and Carol shuts that shit down immediately.
I don't know if you know this, but you're not exactly the heroic type. Or trustworthy. Or anything positive I can think of at all, really. I'm here to track down my sister. That's all that matters to me.
But because of a recently active volcano, Carol is dragged into the mess that's going on in Perusa. If there's a scrap, Cortisone's probably right on the tail of the problem. And now, here's the funny thing. Justice in Sky Paradise is locked off only for Carol. If you were anyone else, it'd be selectable out the gate. Game's essentially saying that Corey is here if this is your first playthrough, and you can't have Carol immediately knowing where Corey is. So, off to making your selection, and I'll say it like this. Regardless of your choice, Carol realizes that this shit ain't it and fucks off to the unlocked stages, but gets roped into whatever is really relevant, like in the route I have now, Zulon Jungle. Because of Ah and his bots, Carol goes and sees what the fuss is all about and remarks like any one of us to Serpentine returning.
Crap, not him again.
This is where this motherfucker landed, and he's still on the hunt for that Sintussi. But Ah wants to make more friends, so it's literally a fucking RP fight between him and Ah.
Here to be scienced!
No, your voice is annoying, and I fire my missile!
You dorks. I bet you wear glasses, losers. This jungle is hectic and full of shit everywhere for both Serpentine and Ah, and it's going to be a lot at once, but as long as you keep the pace and avoid missiles from Serpentine, you should be fine. Kari ain't here, and Carol knows she ain't fucking with explosions and two people in an RP server trying to god mod their way to victory. Carol, as she does, sarcasm's a good plan, and Spade tells her to stick it through and get that shit done.
I mean, sure, that's pretty horribly bad, but what else am I gonna do? Jump into all that, steal syntax, and then get out of there before they even notice?
Yes.
I hate it when my sarcastic ideas turn good.
Once Carol makes a science kid look like a dumb fifth grader, the collection of fuckwits make their way on over to Nalo Lake, where everything goes to hell. But first, Syntax is out here in the middle of the place where Odd tries to steal her for his own robots, but
Maximum action, maximum firepower!
fuck! Serpentine essentially stole back what was originally his, and Brevins, and Ozd's immediate response was to be a squire! Turns out that Oz is helping Murga unleash Bakunawa because he wants to go to space. This is a child helping a centuries-old sealed-away monster to destroy the world for the hopes of space. Serpentine tries to snake his way into making Ah work for him, but Carol has experience with the man that has the voice of a magnum being shot.
Witness the power of a fully operational syntax! Initiate code black!
As you wish, sir.
Serpentine steals Ah's toys and proceeds to kick dirt in his eyes, and Carol decides to pull forth for a temporary truce. With said truce comes running through all the transformed enemies, and it's also a clusterfuck of bots, hitboxes, and Brevanite scum. The thing is, once you get a little ways through the stage, Ah cries about getting the buddy bot up and running, so we need to find the parts. Fortunately enough, they aren't too far away from each other. This part of the stage can probably be a bit contentious due to how it's set up. You have to search high and low for these bots, and sure, they're not far apart, like I said, but most people aren't gonna be little bastards like me and grind the game out. They'll get lost and blame video games. It's okay to get lost sometimes. The timer don't mean shit unless you care about good grades, and if you do, you can literally just restart the stage and give it another go when you feel like you know where it all is. It's big, but it's not an IKEA. You'll find your way eventually. Once you do manage to find all the parts, it's time for a transformation! Except you need to do it on cue like an anime. Look, Ah might be annoying, but he's harmless and he just wants friends.
Eye sword!
Activate!
Now we get to play the bunda! Fuck yeah! It's surprisingly fast and over before you know it. You just get to have fun plowing through the entire stage and wrecking shit! Then it's off to do some Bundum and S-Gundam fighting, which is really easy, but it's still fun and keeps the game moving while Serpentine screams about being invincible within death. Once the dust settles, is slow on the draw.
Guys? Hello? You guys are jerks!
Carol and Spade run off with the tax collection, and Spade wants to get Carol back into action.
We make a pretty good team, huh?
Yeah, kinda like old times, only with way more giant robot shenanigans.
So, why don't we keep doing this? You know, make this partnership thing a little more long-term.
I'm flattered, but you're not really my type, Spade.
I'm talking about rejoining the Red Scarves, dummy. You're still wearing the colors even.
She declines, and for logical reasons.
The thing about organized crime is it's organized crime. I'd be happy to never see my face on a wanted poster ever again. Besides, Lilac would kill me.
But Lilac isn't here right now. None of your so-called friends are.
Look, I wouldn't be here if they understood my sister the way I do, and I can't blame them for not wanting to trust her. She's doing this thing with Murga for a reason, and I'm going to find out why.
She's here to hunt for Corey and find answers, not for anything else. So here's where I'm going to take you guys over to the floating islands. Ha! Not yet, you won't! Hold these puns from Magma Starscape!
Hey, Corey, what did one volcano say to the other volcano? I lava you. This is taking our relationship for granted. Maybe we could work things out if I were a little bolder.
Stop.
I think we've really hit rock bottom.
Stop.
I'd hate to make a mountain out of a molehill, but things between us have been pretty rocky.
Stop.
Let's talk about the old times. Get a little sentimental.
For crying out loud, that's enough!
Rock pun.
Pin you under a boulder.
So here's where I'm going to take you guys to the floating islands. Before we get there, Captain Klonoa presents himself to the world by saying, "Volcanoes don't like water, dear citizens. That's where I'm going to go, and I'll use science and my superb physical strength to get the job done." Murga is still written all over his cheeks, and he's even got newly patented Murga underwear. Now on sale for 30,000 gems. Act now, or you'll lose out on this amazing offer. Make sure to call the number on screen right now. Warning, must be 18 years or older to order the fantastic Justice Dragon underwear. There are no refunds, mailbacks, complaints, or 2-star reviews on the store page. Balls not included. Since Captain Cornball is off doing his doings with the beacons, Spade also catches that airship Seguata is in the area, so it's absolutely a place Carol should be heading to. Of course, it's time to fuck up Murga's run and get to see Corey. Let's get it! Before getting to the floating islands, it's time to smash up those beacons and Skybridge. I will say that this is one of my favorite stages because every time I get here, I realize something about how these characters should be playing. Every single time, it's like a light bulb in my brain going off when playing the stage. The beauty of action games and your own improvement. Such a satisfying experience. This stage is also a bit winding, so you're gonna get lost on your first run through. But hey, that's what multiple playthroughs are for. Gaining the data, building that skill set, and trying again to get those better times. Skybridge's goal is to get rid of those beacons and smash all the bots to Kingdom Come. Once you smash enough, the majestic Beacon Cheek will make his appearance and try to make you out for a terrorist on live television. And this justifiably pisses off Carol.
Let everyone see you for the splenetic Shangtusian terrorist that you are. Your monstrous attacks on peace will be broadcast on every channel in Perusa. And I, Captain Kalau, will be the legendary hero who strikes you down.
Are you serious? Joining Giant Fish Lady, betraying our trust. It was all for ratings?
It does not get that much better with Nira either.
If the pretext for your betrayal revolves around pandering to your overinflated ego, I shall be very cross.
This is Kalau's actual fight, and it's not that bad. It's a simple one-on-one where he smashes and poses his way to victory. Almost seems like this ate all of him. Fortunately for you, it isn't.
Now you've done it. I am the terror that runs for justice!
Now we play on his terms. And this is where the fight gets simultaneously easier and harder. Easier in the sense that he takes more damage, like a single hit should just cap an entire pedal. Harder in the fact that we're fighting on his terms, flying and floating around awkwardly, and that's the point. Just pay attention, bear with him on his wacky and splendiferous ride of justice and hope.
Sweet!
Once you cap the captain, he falls flat on his ass and reveals that Murga told him everything about the injustices that the Magister hid from the rest of the world. He wanted to fight and be the hero that the world needed, but here he stands as a symbol of sports instead of a pugilistic fist of justice that the world needs, and the man is sick of it. Hell, even Nira calls him out on his bullshit and puts his claims down entirely, not knowing what it means to really be a hero and fight for the justice you claim to hold so dear.
I see. So being the Battlesphere champion was not enough for you. You had to play at being a real hero as well.
You're only a Battlesphere champion, nothing more. There are no heroes in overblown suits and spandex, only people who decide to do what's right.
Battlesphere champion. What kind of hero sits in a playground all day, waiting for evil to come to him? I am a joke, an action figure. A fake legend prancing around for my beloved citizens' amusement. As if I could care any less about them sitting at home, stuffing their faces, watching me grapple for sport. But not anymore. This time, I will be the hero. This time, I will be the one who saves the world. And no one is going to stand in my way!
Ahem.
Which is what Captain Kalau would say had Captain Kalau been brain-sucked by villainous Shangtusian terrorists. But fear not, good citizens. I, Captain Kalau, the Red Wing of Justice, have broken free of their dastardly programming and will live on to fight another day. Hyah!
Sad to see a man wanting to do right by the people is still being strung up by the people. Well, sad and strung up men aside, it's time to hit up Corey.
Corey! Yes! I found you! I found you! I'm gonna be on you like a Girl Scout with a boatload of cookies!
Swear to God, it's like this cat has something new to say every time I see her. Before we can move on to the next stage, we gotta hit up Paradise Prime out here. And if you're trying to move on, like, just talk to Lola here, learn about how they sealed off the Lightning Tower due to a certain child. Also, yeah, this is where Ah and Kalau originate from. Paradise Prime, a place high up in the skies and a really comfortable looking place to boot. If you want, you can play heads or tails with one of the locals. Heading into the Lightning Tower is like, well, climbing a tower with electricity going through it. Now you gotta start ballin', and do a bit of sticking yourself into some sockets to get the electricity flowing. Fur really do be a good conductor though, for real, for real. Climb the tower, smash some bugs and birds, and it's finally time to meet up with Corey. With this meeting, Carol tries to reach Corey. She doesn't want this, the fighting, the chasing, the two sides working against each other. She wants to have a normal relationship with her family.
They said that we couldn't trust you, that I couldn't trust you. But we're sisters. We shouldn't be fighting like this. We should be going out on shopping dates and illegal sky races like normal sisters. Corey, please, come back with me. Forget Murga. We can work things out. Wow, that worked? Also, since when were you a hugger?
Don't worry, little sis. I've got this.
What?
Doesn't work out at all. It does show that Corey wants to keep Carol out of the crossfire. She still cares for Carol in her own special way.
Ah! She's worse than Lilac!
Well, well, what do we have here?
Surprise reunion with Serpentine out at sea is also included in the Meet and Gas Your Family special. Serp gives Carol an ultimatum. Come with him and team up, or starve on the boat alone. Carol ain't gonna starve. She's got a chest and it's got...
What the? Raisins? Corey!
While Carol is out of commission for the time being, let's check in with the group back in Shang 2. Mila alerts the nerds that Carol's gone missing, and Lilac's upset, but in a sense she's not surprised. Whereas Nira...
Traitor!
Lilac gets on Nira's case defending Carol because she knows her best friend. Whereas Nira...
Captain was our friend. Ascal was our friend. Who's next, I wonder? Are you going to join Murga as well?
Nira, calm down!
Don't tell me what to do!
Stop! Please stop! I can find Carol. I know her scent. Lady Nira, I know you're hurting, and I know you're having trouble trusting people right now. But trust me, I would never ever hurt you. Please.
All this dog wants is for Nira to believe in her. The pain inside Nira is very real, but she wants to appeal to that shred of hope left inside of her, no matter how dashed it might be right now. Her home is gone, the people she knows and trusts are walking out on her, the man she's fighting for might not be nearly as clean as she once thought. Everything for her is crashing down, but there's this small dog still holding out hope for her, still giving her a chance at trusting another person.
You're right. Forgive my outburst.
It's okay. We'll find her together.
Right.
We all know where she's going, so all we need to do now is find her sister.
Her ship is the Perusian carrier. She'll most certainly have a base in the southern islands.
Then that's where we're headed.
To Perusa!
Zhao being Zhao joins in and offers his airship.
He wants to find a new Battlesphere champion.
I want to find a new Battlesphere champion.
Zhao is Zhao. You knew this was coming. Now it's time for the crew to hop on and get shit moving. Now here's the funny thing I should mention. By the time the gang have already made their way up and out, Carol's almost certainly on her way to Zulon Jungle. Regardless, Carol's already probably going to be out by sea before they can even think of catching up to her. Before Tidal Gate can start for them, Zhao is still presenting himself as Zhao.
Here, Mayor. You may continue on your way.
He's not coming with us?
Oh, I get it. We need to keep a low profile. Zhao and his airship would be way too conspicuous.
Wrong! I'm just way too awesome for this mission.
Or that. Sure.
Well, I'm off to find my champion. Toodles!
We'll call you if we need a ride.
Watch out for roaming fees!
Once Tidal Gate is passed on through, the gang catch Spade's frequency as well, and also get invited on into Goldie's for a conversation on what's going on. Before Spade, let me check back in on that info hut where the time capsule was. Funny thing about this place, it's got a healthy amount of info on the water dragons, despite, you know, the terrification of their mostly deceased kind. Head on over to the idea kiosk and let's chill out for a second. Learn about some more of the water dragons as a water dragon looking for the other water dragon that's trying to avenge the water dragons for the genocide that was brought to the water dragons. Fuck! Lo and behold, the water dragons belong to the very seas of Avalis, making ocean-dwelling homes and architecture. Kinda explains the seaweed over in Tidal Gate now that I think about it. There was a variety of different races and types of water dragons, which kinda explains how Lilac and Murga, despite being the same species, look completely different. They eventually came together to be colloquially known as the Water Dragons, in due time from good relationships. Water Dragons were also fucking smart, and were naturally gifted in biotechnology. It's like these motherfuckers were out here creating their own builds in life. Makes sense of how Murga is apparently a living weapon. She's a product of their own ingenuity, and from the way she fights,
Everything will end!
It shows. She's a gifted warrior, and I can imagine back in her time, she was like their ace in a hole for war and battles. Makes you wonder what Lilac could have been or would have been if she was still with her family, or had her family. As you know, Earth Dragons came to the picture and landed on Avalis, but to really get their blessings of technology and culture, they had to put a stop to their biotech ventures and become more homogenous. Moon worship, huh? Guess they have their own beliefs in something greater than them. Seems like I was on the money for the most part. Look at all these different moons. Exact cultural practices vary? Kinda curious about... They have their own Valentine's Day and everything. Makes you wonder if they had their own versions of Christmas and Halloween too. What? Water water dragons probably had their own fun too before they were wiped out. Come on, let me think. Let me imagine. Alright, what about Bakunawa? A joint venture between the Earth and Water Dragons and an Ark ship that was out to see the stars. Wasn't high-tech more of an Earth Dragon thing? If anything, the Earth Dragons from Pengu's reserves back in Freedom Planet 1 was wearing a spacesuit, and they were the ones to bring the tech to this world and everything. Even the Kingdom Stone was something they created, but I'll let this be for now. I'm sorry, Planet Cracker! Breaking apart matter to harvest materials to power and repair? I'm sorry, did these motherfuckers come in with a doomsday weapon? Is this why the Water Dragons call the Earth Dragons liars and schemers? So, if I'm getting this right, from all of the events that transpired in the past, the Water Dragons were an indigenous race that belonged to Avalis and primarily lived within the sea. They fostered their own means of culture and science from how they revered the moon and found advancements in biotech to augment and change themselves as they saw fit to. Once the Earth Dragons crash-landed here with Bakunawa, they just wanted to repair their shit and get out there, but eventually settled down here in Avalis and brought their culture and technology to it. In due time, there was a meeting with the two dragons, and they ended up meeting each other on their own terms, forging a bond of some kind. Hell, the Water Dragons even wanted to help them rebuild their ship if Bakunawa was a joint venture. Although, that's probably what history wants me to think. Alright, I think that's enough history for one small trip through a tower. I will bring light to the exchange between Lilac and Magister if she snagged the time capsule first. Over back in Shangmu, the Magister has been to work and still hasn't found anything that they already didn't know. Lilac brings to light that Murga was a champion of some kind, and this catches the ears of the Magister. Lilac, being hungry for answers as she is, wants to hunt out Murga and knows where she can find more clues about her and the lost history of the Water Dragons. Magister kinda calls it out as funny that Lilac was the one to find this log, and puts things back into Lilac's mind that Murga is the enemy, and this could have been a trap. Murga did try to get Lilac on her side through information of whatever truth she might be holding. This understandably stops Lilac in her tracks before getting back on track to stop Bakunawa. Regardless of any traps of any kind, it's time to check in with Spade, who proceeds to dork it up once again. He basically hits up the same lines as with Carol and gives the dweeb some intel that Murga has been setting her claws in nice and deep into Perusa. I'm not gonna go over the first arc of the area again since it'd be redundant, however I will go over for Mila's sake as the conversation at hand is relevant to her arc. It's a small interaction where Serpentine tries to get Mila on his side again once Nala Lake begins.
Oh, yeah, stop it!
And you, dog! I repeat my offer! Or would you rather your friends learn the truth?
What truth? That you're a miserable snake?
Join me, little one, and you may yet live to see your parents!
So you're not only a cheat, but a liar too! Brevin sure knows how to pick 'em.
Mila brings it back up.
Lilac, about what Serpentine said.
It's okay. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. I'd trust you over Snake Man any day of the week. And when you're ready to talk, I'll be here. Now, let's go find Carol.
Okay!
And Lilac really shows how she's become a real big sister. Real team player for her friends. Goddamn. You keep going, Lilac. Once you get back from that stage, Lilac and Spade have a chat. And she's none too miffed about Carol being Carol, what with her doing things her way. Then the conversation bleeds before it starts to leak into a messy puddle.
Right.
What's that supposed to mean?
Just saying. You can't blame your friends for not growing up as fast as you.
Oh yeah, like you gave me a choice.
And you're still holding on to that.
You stole me from my family before I was even hatched. So yeah, I'm going to hold on to that.
Listen, I was a kid who needed to get in good with the scarves. I'm sorry that I picked your egg, but that's how it was. We're lucky that I even found my way back.
Lucky? Lucky that I never got to know my parents? Lucky that I discovered I was a living trophy?
They wanted the egg for the pool room. It was good that they didn't mind when you hatched. Things could have gone a whole lot worse.
I have a criminal record from being raised by a bunch of thieves, Spade. I lived in the woods because my wanted posters were everywhere.
What do you want me to say? I'm sorry, all right? I'm sorry that your life didn't turn out the way it was supposed to. I made some bad decisions, brought you along for the ride, and now we're here, okay?
That's not okay. And I'm sorry about that too.
This is why we don't talk.
Lilac players, I'm sorry. Skimming over the Serpent Asset, we're gonna head on over to stopping that volcano that's about to bust and probably set this whole island ablaze. Mila has a plan to not only stop the volcano, but also divert the lava into the ocean where nobody can get hurt. Or in her words,
Oh, we could blow a hole in the side of the volcano! Then all that lava will plop, plop into the ocean and nobody gets turned into charcoal!
Okay, 1, you're dark. 2, you want to stop a volcano by blowing it up?
For this plan to succeed, we must create a powerful explosion. Mila, that explosive color-changing potion of yours. I don't suppose you could create a more potent version.
I think so. I just need a few ingredients first.
alright, to get the ingredients from Ancestral Forge, I gotta pack the right bombs, and also, we gotta head on down over to Ancestral Forge to get our ingredients necessary for the composition, and regardless of who you're playing, the shit is killing any kind of frequency to keep in contact.
Everyone! I found some writing on the walls! It looks very old. Can't really read it. Hello? Lilac? Nira? Spade? Oh no. I think I'm lost.
I'd like to consider this a Mila venture, but Lilac has some flavor dialogue that helps this shit out a little bit.
Guys, this place has Bakunawa carved on the walls!
I actually like being here, believe it or not. It lets me experiment with routes, and really lets a good amount of the characters shine with their own skill sets. If you're good enough, you can even find some shortcuts here and there, but you didn't hear that from me.
Yay!
I'm actually kinda cool at video games. Despite this being one of the longest stages in the game, being a part-time of 15 minutes, you can still make this stage your bitch. Can't say the same about this bot, as fucking with him is a bit funky. However, if you can figure something out, you're more equipped than me. Just exercise caution when trying to approach him and then smack his funny ass. Then once you're done here and help the best dog in the universe get her ingredients she needed, it's off to Magma Starscape and—
Everyone, battle stations!
Battle stations? This is Mayor Zhao's luxurious sky palace, not Mayor Zhao's dreadnought marauder!
What happened to all the cannons?
Where else was I going to put the hot springs?
Zhao is still Zhao! Ship goes down, and Nira tries to check up on Zhao when he's—
How is Mayor Zhao's luxurious sky palace? Zhao!
weeping about his sunken costs. How? Running through a volcano ain't no big deal. Should be easy, and kinda is for the most part. The game really lets you have it and speeds on by if you know where you're going. There's also a gimmick here where if you're not careful and don't stay in these purple and crystallized walls, something will happen. I don't know what, and you know what? I didn't care. I wanted to move along until God told me— oh my God, why? Please learn to just dodge or just stop when you see these drills before you get clapped. The boss of this stage is a fucking abomination. No, not like me. I'm well adjusted. Somewhat. Just find the means to punish it and be careful. Ride the volcano up to the top and be ready for—
Radar!
Hey! I said I would explain when I had the chance. Now here we are.
And what, pray tell, were you planning to tell me? That the Magister is evil? That Murga is somehow going to make the world a better place? I've gone through every explanation you can possibly give me, and every one of them was idiotic and foolish!
She's been waiting for this encounter for a hot minute, thinking and toiling about this moment. All of the possible responses, the excuses, the lies, all of it has been circling in her head the moment Askel double-crossed her and the Magister. Askel attempts to appeal to Nira, and does so through...
The Magister was a tool, Nira, wielded by his ancestors to keep an immoral peace through lies and cover-ups. Your loyalty was to a weak man who made you feel lonely and isolated. But it doesn't have to be that way anymore.
Excuse me? I am no winter flower waiting to be plucked. I stand alone because I choose to. You may find fault with the Magister, but it was he who gave our people their strength. I would not be who I am today without his guidance, and I will not abandon my values or my people for a derelict like you!
The attempt goes horribly wrong. Nira's too devoted and steadfast about her duty to the man who gave her the power to move onwards. The weak man who gave her the justice she totes around like a hardened edge. Ascal saw something in the similar stance he holds with Murga. Two entities fighting for justice in their own ways. One to uphold the laws and justices that were brought by the Magister and his forebearers, and the other seeking to expose the injustices brought on by an entire race he's half of. Ascal sought to bring comfort. He sought to bring warmth to a cold woman of hardened justice. But everything in his heart is crumbling down on him. Reality is setting in.
That connection was called trust, and you broke it. There's nothing now.
This man is breaking down, wailing, screaming, and throwing everything into the struggle of rejection and consequence. Ascal is something to not be fucked with. His punish windows are there, but they're laced with explosions and rocks falling to the floor as the fight rages on. Oh yeah, he's got 4 phases in this fight. While his pattern is simple, 2 dives, then a 3-hit combo, 2 dives, then a lunge, 2 dives, then the 100-hook punch that you do not want to eat in the slightest. Get him down a chunk, he pulls out the rock ring. Put him down another chunk, he brings out the crystals that he can use to enhance his movement, and bring him down the last chunk, and he's gotten a bigger rock ring! While short, this fight has everything it needs to feel drag-out and dangerous. One clean hit from Ascal can drop you to an inch of your life if you're not careful, especially when trying to find those punish windows.
Impossible!
I should kill you.
Go on. Do it. Prove your loyalty to the Magister.
Ascal, of all people, it was you? We will not bow down to traitors!
Nira, stop!
It's my home.
You're talking about our friend.
Captain was our friend. Ascal was our friend. Who's next, I wonder? Are you going to join Murga as well?
Nira, calm down!
Don't tell me what to do! I should have known better than to trust again.
I'll explain everything later, but right now, the Magister has to go.
No, not today. But mark my words, you will answer for your treachery.
Lilac also has some dialogue with Ascal, and he's more confused than anything. Confused that she doesn't understand that this is the chance for the Water Dragons. The last bastions of the race rise up against their oppressors and do what they should have long ago.
Murga has won. Someone with Water Dragon blood like you should be celebrating.
War is nothing to be happy about.
So what's the other option, huh? An immoral peace? A peace where people like us are unwanted? Outcasts who get shaded glances from more acceptable members of society?
This is the chance to do something truly right for the world that despises people like Ascal and Lilac. People who struggle under the weight of society and are judged everywhere they walk. To fight against the current world order and shape it into something better. Something new and greater for those that are already struggling to live happy and simple lives. A way to set things right with the world and really show everyone, regardless of standing, what it means to fight for a newer and brighter future.
Is that whose world you're fighting for? Because I can tell you right now, it won't be enough. It will never be enough for them.
This isn't something to celebrate for Lilac. But what are the other options in this conflict between an exiled lord and a centurion hell-bent on righting the wrongs of history, with bloodshed, kidnappings, and awakening an age-old spaceship? Lilac, while being shaken by the entire ordeal, is set in her ways. She just wants answers for herself. This is her chance to get the answers she wants. She's going to get them her way.
No, I'm not going to get into this with you. Let me out. I'm guessing Murga is going to want you back at some point, so let me out before I make her lose her pet Earth Dragon.
Fine. Good talk. We can pick it up some other time. Eventually, you'll have to face reality. And in the end, you'll know I'm
Once the fights are settled, it's time to blow up the volcano, and with it, a rainbow of magma. While the gal pals are off chasing the Saguada to get answers on Carol, let's check in on Carol. She manages to get back to Goldie's with Serpentine, and there's a note. Spade made off with Syntax. Serpentine decides to open his mouth for a minute too long, and Carol actually hits him.
The whole world will tremble before me!
Shut up!
What? How dare you! The loquacious general! My nose! I only have one of those, you know!
I have had it! I am sick and tired of people like you, like Spade, like my sister, just doing whatever they want and expecting everyone else to pick up after them and... Oh, jeez, who am I kidding? I really messed up!
This entire trip was a mistake, and she's gonna try to set things right. First things first, leash the snake. Secondly, company has arrived.
That scent! And that other scent! Carol!
Carol?
Serpentine!
Carol, quick! Get behind us! We'll cover you!
What are you guys doing here?
A better question. What is he doing here?
Hold up, it's cool. We're on the same team now. The green team.
So it's treason then.
Everything here is a misunderstanding, and Carol tries to use her people words.
Do you think this is some kind of a game, Wildcat? You've led us on a wild goose chase, jeopardizing the safety of millions.
Look, I know it was a bad idea. Now, it was a family thing. I wasn't thinking straight, and it didn't end well. So let's just let bygones be bygones, eh? Oh, sorry, scary lady.
Nira is royally pissed, considering that this entire excursion could have gone south faster than Carol can dropkick, and she's still trying to worm her way out of the problem. A diffusion with a dragon takes place, because this shit could go nuclear very fast, but Gong makes a call to hit up the girls with some deets. As it turns out, Murga just ended up packing her shit, left Shang too, and snagged Pangu while she left. Serpentine screams, as usual, and gets threatened by women, as usual.
Yes! Yes! Bakunawa will soon be mine!
Are you trying to get beat up?
However, before everything can come to a close, Murga left a message for Lilac.
Hatchling, I know you and your friends are behind the efforts to sabotage my work in Perusa. I'm disappointed but not surprised. You still do not fully understand, and I wish to educate you. Meet me at these coordinates tonight. Come alone.
Trap.
Have you ever wondered what happened to all of the water dragons?
Let me go after her! Please, Your Excellency!
Are ambushing Murga, right?
No.
Lilac, you do know that today is an opposite day, right?
You all go look for Spade. I can handle this.
This is it. This is her chance to talk with Murga without the Magister or anyone else in the way. Dragon to dragon. Lilac runs ahead to the coordinates that Murga detailed. Gravity bubble. A completely submerged area, and if I'm to believe the history right, these are water dragon structures lost to the crashing waves of time. There's even holes in the sea for land dwellers to come to, which has some implications, but I'd imagine that the earth dragons never made their way down here too often. I could be wrong though. Regardless of time or history, this is Lilac's place to be. Everyone else chases after her, and before the rest of the gang end up doing so, Serpentine rushes off and Carol apologizes.
Speaking of which, Mila, I'm sorry for running off like I did. I hope you can forgive me.
Oh, Lilac and I are both used to that by now. We call it pulling a Carol. We keep a list.
Oh, well, good.
Good. Actually, if you really want to apologize, you should apologize to Lady Nira. She took you leaving the hardest. Oh, really?
Mila.
Yeah, she was absolutely devastated. I don't think I've ever seen her that upset before. You really hurt her feelings, Carol. Oh, really? Scary, Nira. I'm sorry for leaving you behind, but not for chasing my sister. I had to do that, you know? Corey's an annoying brat who keeps running off because of stuff she just won't explain. But she's family. You understand, right?
I suppose I do.
That's that hatchet buried for the time being, and back to talking about this stage. It's big, has a decent amount of extra pathways, and it's full of enemies. Dodging will be kinda needed here if you don't want to stay any longer than you need to. Yes, you can still go fast in the water. It's just that some things are naturally gimped, like Mila's block dashes, but Carol players are privileged fucks with that motherfucking boot on them. I see you, motherfuckers. I see you. After a lot of swimming and speeding through rings, Lilac reaches Murga for that one-on-one time she offered to her. She brings up those Earth Dragons again, the ones who gave them the name Water Dragons, the one who sought to take the Water Dragons and forge them for a newer, more united purpose, Bakunawa. Although, the way that she speaks of their union...
We were to be redeemed and remade in order to accomplish a necessary duty. I suppose it was in our favor that we were the most biologically compatible species on this planet. Out of our union was conceived a child, Bakunawa. And once she was born, well, they'd taken our names already. What else could they have taken from us?
She speaks of the past in a way like she's holding things back. Like she wants to just scream all out the injustices of the world to the other water dragon right next to her, but she knows that'll get her nowhere. Murga gives the necessary details of how the Earth Dragons stole not only their lives, but their names, and possibly much more from when they landed, but there has to be something she's keeping in her hand. Lilac feels for Murga in her quiet suffering, and in that moment, Murga tries to reach out for Lilac. She wants to leave this planet with Bakunawa with Lilac in tow. This is the chance for them to escape and seek out a newer life, away from the tainted soil of the Earth Dragons.
There is nothing left for us here. We can go and never return. Leave the Earth Dragons to their machinations and fly to a new world.
And what happens to this world?
Does it matter?
Lilac isn't going anywhere with Murga, despite all that she's gone through her entire life. A criminal record, Scarves Association, the scars of a tyrannical ruler, and even the ageless champion standing before her. She's willing to fight for what she loves. Lilac is staying. Murga, as resourceful as she is, drops a device that drops Lilac in a heartbeat. Serpentine, as he ran ahead, tries to be a threat, but women are his natural weakness. Because of the anti-pussy magnet, Mila and the others help Lilac get up on her feet and hold out for a fight, but Murga...
Giant fish lady, back off! Unless you want a face full of punchies!
Indeed. Your schemes end here, Murga. Bakunawa will not rise this day.
What was that?
A redirection of the island's volcanic pressure to key fault lines. You may have disabled a few of our beacons, but not all.
Impossible! You needed Pengu. It was a vital component.
I'm no fool. It was installed well before your arrival.
No, we're too late.
Indeed. And that is why it is you who shall end here.
The end has come. Run! Just fucking run and don't look back! That's why! Just move! 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 Escape Bakunawa, but also take these bubbles up to the sky. so you don't get washed as it flies out from the seafloor. There's more to this chase than escaping it. We gotta stop it! Stopping it involves chasing and shooting Murga's flight troops as she drops one of the rawest lines known to 2022.
Hear me, Magister! The weapon that you Earth Dragons created, that brought death to so many of my people, will now be my salvation. Bakunawa will rise to the sky and devour you, giving her the energy she needs to lead this solar system. And we will sail the stars while this world rots. This planet is yours! Long may you reign vainglorious over a dead world!
With Bakunawa in tow, she's far too fast to catch up to, even after clipping one of the wings. She's going to destroy the moon. Failed? Fuck yeah, there's still a chance to clip that shit out of the stratosphere!
What just happened?
The fool! She's clearly too far away for the mining laser to be effective. Unhand me at once! The cooperative General Serpentine is on your side, and he has a plan.
Let him go. We have an agreement. And you, talk!
It's simple. I have a small ship capable of chasing down the stolen weapon and evading any detection systems she may have on board.
But without Syntax, his ship ain't shit, and this presents a chance for Mila to talk to him. Before she does, Lilac just does this and trusts Mila.
Don't worry, I can make him change his mind.
Jesus, it's the small things that make Lilac a lot better, man. Best big sis of 2022! Serpentine tries to push Mila out of the way, but she wants to accept his offer from much earlier, to join him and see her parents in due time. To serve Lord Brevin!
We have to beat Murga and take over Bakunawa!
Wrong! Too late! That was my old offer. Now you'll have to blast away all those friends of yours as well. Every last one.
Mila, of course, goes along with Serpentine and his stupid fucking plan to get her friends on board in, even thinking of using them as cannon fodder for Murga because we're evil schmucks of the solar system!
Good! Good. How fiendishly genius of you. Lord Brevin would be proud.
Serpentine buys it, and soon enough, everyone heads back down to Shang-Tu to regroup and think of a plan to stop Murga. The palace is looking no worse for wear. That invasion really was just for destroying this place, isn't it? Mila comes back to bark at the goobers of her success, and Serpentine is gonna bring everyone to Bakunawa. Mila made a promise to Serpentine, and with it, Serpentine respects women.
I hope you're all exactly as heavy as you look. Otherwise, this will be a short trip.
Rude assessment of our collective weight aside, I assume this interjection means we are ready to leave?
Everything should be nice and set for everyone to leave, but Syntax is the bigger problem. We need Syntax. I need Syntussi right now! Alright, time to track down a chip-block panda bro and get ready to get his ass for that Syntax drone. Before that happens, let's check in on the Magister. Turns out, he actually managed to find something about the water dragons through his research. Through his studies, he saw everything he'd already known of the water dragons. The betrayal, Murga being the ultimate warrior. These books were written by earth dragons until he found one book. One about horticulture and plants. A book detailing the notes of the war effort. Her experiences of the war. From what he found, he realized that Murga is justified in her anger and utter disdain for the world. The Magister just wants to talk things out, hoping to find another way out of this planetary disaster situation, but...
Her grudge is against my people. The rest of the world need not suffer for our arrogance and conspiracy.
That time is long since past. Although, Lilac sees that may not be the case, whereas Nira sees this as a very do-or-die situation, and that this is completely asinine, and yes, it very much is. Trying to talk down someone who only wants the blood of the living and seeking to set the planet on a crash course to hell isn't going to happen.
The last centurion of a long-gone race? Isn't that someone worth talking to?
Someone of your own blood. Yeah, I get that. Someone who may be afraid of being nothing more than a weapon.
Someone with the courage and discipline to do what is needed to be done.
Nira, after all that she has been through on this journey, is starting to see what Lilac is trying to throw down.
Should the situation arise.
Have I come at a bad time?
King Dale walks on in on the conversation once it ends in order to present two gifts. Spade, the dashing rogue, and the Syntax drone as a thank you gift after helping out in Shuigong much earlier in the game. I'll let you know this now, the only reason that Dale even knows about Spade and brings him in is because Nira called him in after he took the drone. One final thing from the Magister. Please drop the communicator so that he may talk with Murga as an attempt to make amends. After that, it's up to you to either gather whatever else you need to prepare for the endgame. Yeah, speaking of preparing... If you remember me talking about these time capsules, or hell, remember this pop-up hours later, you're in luck, because you need to be here to get the rest of them. Now, I will say, going to the Battlesphere after snagging the first time capsule feels... awkward, to say the least. You're either hunting for Carol and just pull a Carol,
Aw, yeah!
or you're being Carol and just giving your friends the runaround for some quick goodies. In this case, the world is about to end because a vengeful fishwoman is looking to eat your moon, and the first thing you do to prepare is travel to Shangmu and party like it's 2023! Once this video is out, it will be 2023. In fact, it is 2023 on this day. Hi, how you doing? This has been in production since November of 2022. It's been a couple of months. I've been working very hard on this. Hope you're enjoying it. Please help me. So you either fuck about and feel weird about doing the Battlesphere in two separate spots, or you do the final boss twice so you can get to or you do the final boss twice so you can get to the secret ending. The Battlesphere is a place full of little challenges, mini-games, and apparently the place where you can re-challenge all of the bosses. None of these should take you too long. I'd say around 30-ish minutes to really clear out the necessary challenges here in the sphere to get all the juicy little capsules. All of the challenges range from running through obstacle courses, doing one of the story challenges by yourself, maybe fighting a boss or two, and solve a little puzzle with a chill-ass track. Yeah! Ayo, what the fuck? Okay. Alright, Freedom Planet 2. Alright. Even has a bit of a remix of Dragon Valley in it. Honestly, how did Zhao get his hands on all of these? Did he steal them? Buy them off? Are people in Avlis auctioning off valuable historical artifacts that tell of the war between the Earth and Water Dragons? Snag all of these artifacts, and if you're here at this point in the game, it's time to head back to Perusa and check these out, and see what they're all about. As you can imagine, or gather from what I just said, these are recordings dating back to the war between the Earth and Water Dragons. And if the very first one was found when you came into Perusa as anything to go by, it's about Cordelia and Murga. Just as a refresher, Cordelia has been hearing from the Water Dragons that there's been a new champion being crafted, one of immeasurable strength and power, a war machine given flesh. The rumors are just rumors, but knowing their abilities and righteous descent, they could be more than just rumors to Cordelia. Her father believes that there's no other option at this point in time. It's kill or be killed, and as history goes, we all know how that went. Cordelia, in her heart-bound wisdom, decides to leave home and head for Perusa to negotiate between the Ocean Dwellers to meet some kind of middle ground. They all live on this planet together, after all. Now that this log is fresh in your memory once more, let's begin with the other 13 and see where this tale takes us. Log 2 details the near celebration of the Earth Dragon's arrival, Avalis Day. How they came to this planet, fitted it with new heaps of technology and advancements that brought Avalis to what it would become in the modern day, and even brought those ocean dwellers from their primitive ways. The Earth Dragons found themselves to be blessings from the stars on this planet. Conceited dicks. Log 3 talks about Bakunawa getting nearly complete and being ready to head back out into space, where the Earth Dragons will soon leave this planet. Cordelia is certainly excited to head back out, but something's amiss. Nobody else is here for it. The water dragons, the workers being put to work on the project, are complaining about the working conditions being so treacherous and laborious. Cordelia believes that they've had it too good for too long, and her water dragon maid agrees. More than likely against her will, but she's one of the good ones, so who knows. Log 4. Log 4 is the start of the uprising with the water dragons as the Bakunawa project was abandoned. This is where the sparks of war began to really come to flame. Cordelia wanted to know where their ocean-dwelling servants went, and her father, the king, sent them off for holiday leave. More than likely they were killed in the halls behind closed doors, or they left. Cordelia sought answers, but her father refused to give her any, not looking at his own daughter, knowing what was going on and what he's doing. This is the event that more than likely caused the first log we've seen to really take form, wanting to find her own answers amidst the uncertainty and rising racial tension that would unite the two kinds under the same floor. Log 5 is the first log we found, and the one I've already told you about. Moving on to Log 6. Log 6, Cordelia managed to make her way to Perusa and ended up getting captured and taken hostage. Her entire sentence was pretty much discussed right in front of her face, like she wasn't even there to begin with. Turns out that statue, you know, the one that was shattered and all that was left was the feet, it was a statue of Murga, the Ocean Dwellers champion. And speaking of which, this was Cordelia's first real meeting with Murga. 6'5", imposing and staring directly into Cordelia, and just frightening her. And to be fair, if you had a biological weapon, a completely conscious and mythologized weapon in your presence, staring you down like some cattle, wouldn't you be at least a little afraid? Log 7. This is the log where Cordelia really gets to know Murga. First off, learning her name, her beliefs that the Earth Dragons are schemers and liars based entirely on the ones she slaughtered. Cordelia, however, has some bite to her, and basically does the same to Murga, and generalizes her kind, and essentially calls them all dumbasses. Murga just glares and storms off, while Cordelia basks in her petulant victory. Log 8, she's in a different getup this time, and it's reminiscent of the statue outside this very hall. Did she actually do it? Did she, at the very least, bring the race war to a halt and make a mark on the water dragons? Well, at the time, Cordelia was wandering the Perusian markets and looking for her favorite, siopao, which if you didn't know, is a Philippine steamed bun. Looks like Murga was at the stall as well and ate a healthy amount of those buns, needing all the energy she could considering her work ethic. From the kindness of her blood-soaked heart, she presents Cordelia one siopao and places it on her head like a doofy kid, and walks off with a smirk. At most, Cordelia could pout and complain about her being a hungry dragon and just toying with her. Log 9. Earth dragons were invading the beaches of Perusa, but as Murga does...
Everything was...
She slaughtered the forces, ruthlessly and efficiently. However, in the middle of the battle, a young water dragon was crying, and nobody knew what to do about this crying and scared child. Murga tried to comfort the child, and more than likely because of her presence, it only made the crying worse. Afterwards, she turned away and walked off, where the adults rushed over to take care of the child. They were relieved, but it hurt her. Imagine your kind building you, molding you into a weapon, and only fit for one purpose. You try to break away from that mold, be more whole, and understand what it means to be compassionate, only to be shut out by a child. You can't turn away from this fate. This is who you are. A horrifying weapon and a cold killer that when any semblance of warmth comes, it's thrown back in your face, reminding you to stay your path. Do not divert from your singular purpose. Warmth is for those that need protecting. Even so, there's still warmth left for a weapon. Log 10 adds some levity to the sadness that is the godly killing machine of flesh and bone. The Shopao takes its revenge. Murga is injured, which even catches Cordelia by surprise, considering how untouchable Murga had to have been and even in the modern day still is. Cordelia visits her in the medical center that Murga was staying in, both being surprised to see each other in this instance. As if Cordelia were a child playing with her friend, she offered Murga a singular Shopao, while she was stocked up on a mother load.
I have never seen a flatter stare.
Murga just takes it and mumbles like a child, thanking and cursing her at the same time, and Cordelia just throws it back in her face for good measure, and she knew she could get away with it, considering that all Murga could do was glare at her. A relationship is clearly starting to bloom from this point onwards. A friendship between the two opposing races at war, and what do? They fuck with each other. Log 11 shows that Murga has an interest in flowers, more than likely a part of the basking that they do for Lilith, but there's more to it than I might think. She managed to identify this small white flower in Cordelia's hair, a Sampaguita, a flower home to tropical Asia in our world. It's a flower that's meant to symbolize purity, fidelity, and hope, fitting that it's on Cordelia of all people. Of all things Murga decided to learn, it was horticulture, and Cordelia is caught off guard about this. She asks Murga if she knows any other flowers, and what does she do? Get offended, snatches her up, and drags her off to the nearest garden. With it, she started to just list off the flowers in the garden along with any uses they had. Cordelia just listened to her rattle off, not having the heart to stop her.
I didn't have the heart to interrupt her. I've never seen her as happy as she was today. I like seeing her happy.
Seeing this bioweapon stand before you and take you off to rattle about her passions. This isn't just a weapon. There's a person behind it all. Someone who genuinely loves and feels just as any normal person would. For all the times she was seen with a malicious air, the cries of men and women alike entrapping her as if she were death given form. There's just this moment, entrapped in time itself and lost in your own little bubble. War is gone, the blood has dried, the air is clean, the skies are clear. There are no screams and nobody to call out for you. It's just two dragons in this small moment of joy. Log 12, Cordelia was finally getting to doing what she originally came here to Perusa for. Peace talks, and with it comes Murga trying to talk her out of it. If her and Murga, the two races currently at war, could actually forge something, why can't the rest of the world just talk things out and maybe everything will blow over? But to Murga, to her, it was impossible, and that Cordelia was one of the good ones. Words used by Cordelia to describe her water dragon maids. And it crushes her. She storms out, completely and utterly upset. Now she knew what it felt like to be called that and how stupid she felt about it all. However, from the relationship they fostered over the time that Cordelia has been in Perusa, Murga came to find Cordelia later and presented some moonflowers as an apology. Another flower to symbolize love and romance, but also a symbol for growth after facing such harsh odds.
She knew exactly what to do and say. Got me wrapped around her fingers.
Log 13 is where Murga took some hefty beatings, trying to brush it off as if it were some kind of small wound. But Cordelia wasn't having it at all. She knew how Murga carried herself, and it was harder than usual. Cordelia recommended relaxing at the beach and watching the sunset together, and there was no argument at all. Murga agreed, if anything. Murga's tired of fighting, and it's beginning to take its toll on her body as a result. Cordelia sees that this war has been going on for far too long, and it needs to end. She has to act and find a way to smooth things out, lest it go on and the war drag on and have more than just soldier casualties. Log 14 marks the shining beacon in which Cordelia has finally talked to the Elder Councilmen and gotten them to try to at least meet with the Magister of Shang-Tu. There's still the core of the matter that trust has not been completely won over, so she's not out of the fryer just yet. But at least she'll have Murga with her for protection if the need arises. Murga's existence is that of a warning. Overstep your boundaries and be cut down! So there's that, I suppose, for Cordelia. She hopes to free Murga of her shackles as the champion of the Ocean Dwellers, to finally bring peace to both the Perusian Water Dragons and the Shangtusian Earth Dragons. This is it! This is the chance!
It won't be an easy road, but nothing worth doing is.
However, history is not so coated in flowers in the loving embrace of the two races. Here we stand with a sad, vengeful, and hardened specter of the past, looking to erase the world of Avalis, the home she claimed to have had, the love she lost, and the very people she outlived. She lost everything. There is nothing for her here in this age of the Earth Dragons. Your heart